working on a rap beat. Let me know how I did. This is my first time working on a rap beat. Let me know how I did. This is my first time working on a rap beat. Let me know how I did.
Hello, chat. Can you hear me? How's the audio? Hello, hello. Happy birthday, little guy. Yippee. Hello, Josh. Hi, Pine. Everybody say hi in chat so I can say hello. Hi, gnomes and pineapples. Ooh, it seems like the music is so fire. Pretty well, then spoke too soon. Perfect. How is the audio in the starting screen? You saw some of your sculptures in there? Yay! Much better now. Is it just me or is it lagging? Hopefully it's not lagging. I'm not dropping any frames. Silent. It's cutting in and out. Pretty quiet in the starting screen. Good. Breaking up. Ugh, I didn't stack. I did not know that that's what was happening until I checked. Breaking up. Okay, we're gonna try to figure that out before I get to starting the tutorial, obviously. Kaide, hello. Hi, Lynx, hello, Poison. Is the song still playing? Oh, I guess you can hear it in my mic.
It's quiet through the...
That makes sense. Can't even stop listening to the song, it's just that good. True and real. Still choppy. We love that. That's huge. We set everything up for so long, so for it to do this is very interesting. I could probably get the mic from...
Do you want the headset mic and then just use that camera?
We're gonna go grab another audio. Is it better for you if I'm on YouTube or Twitch? Twitch 1000%. YouTube does not pay me. Thanks, Dex. Did a little special. Ooh, a door close sound. Sleepy bird. Oh no. We're gonna watch the fan art for just a little bit longer. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Pine. We're sculpting a little figure today, so I'm going to teach y'all how to make the base of all of my little figures. And then based on that, hopefully y'all can make whatever your wildest dreams are. I just realized I'm talking with my hands and you can't see my hands right now. Never sculpted with hands on, so this is going to be fun. I'm hoping y'all can hear me. It's stacked in the art competition. Under. Oh, loud.
I guess do you want to just go to this one?
Where's my headphones?
For input?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything.
I mean, it's too loud. I can't hear you.
Oh.
Hello, chat. Hello. It's not that. Hello, chat. How are we today? Can we hear me now? Am I loud and clear? What's the vibe? Hello. 100% better. Let's go. Okay. Are y'all ready to see the desk? Are we ready to see the desk? Ran here from YouTube. Hi. Hello. Birthday vibes. Better mic now? Perfect. Clover, Lucy, hello. Ready?
Do it.
Switching over. Hi, chat. Hello. Hi. I'm here. I need you to close this. Hi, lurkers. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Who came up with the opening beat? So giant shout out to Stacks. Everybody say thank you, Stacks, or Rax over on Twitch. He made that beat for little guy's birthday, and it was literally the perfect thing for our starting intro screen. I don't know if Stacks had meant for it to be the intro song, but it just worked perfectly, so that's what we got. Birthday nails. See, they match little guy. But yeah, W Stacks in the chat. W Stacks. Wonderful job. But yeah, are y'all ready to sculpt? Are we excited? So all of my little guys, oh, you have to go. Bye, Sabrina. All of my little guys, like this one, are made the same kind of way. So the same way that I made this blueberry guy are also how I made this little guy. And today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make all the way through little guy, but if you wanted to stop just with the head and the body, you can make whatever little guy that you want to. So if you've always dreamed of seeing me make a strawberry guy, for example, or something like that, this will be the perfect time to learn that. The way that I'm going to show y'all first is the easiest way. So it's not exactly the way that I do my pieces, and then I will show y'all the harder way. Screen is just black. I forgot to switch over for YouTube. I apologize, chat. Goodness gracious, you're just seeing like a weird... There we go. Is that better? Sorry, YouTube. Thanks for letting me know y'all couldn't see. That is not how that was supposed to look. Hello. Whole Wednesday saved by the stream. I love that. You can see now. You can see, I promise. You just gotta give it a second. I'm sorry. Can you see now? We're waiting for YouTube to confirm vision. We good? Yeah, W Bunny's on production. second pair of hands. So this is what I'm going to be teaching y'all how to make today. The way that it's going to work is the first time I show y'all, we're going to make the body and a solid head. Now, if you're just using air dry clay or polymer clay, this is going to be the best way for you to do that. I just saw that we were a little laggy. We're going to ask that Bunny's turns off his phone because it's a little laggy. But I'm going to show y'all first how to make a solid version of this. So that way if you're working with air dry clay or polymer clay or just want a simpler way of sculpting, this will be that. And then I will show you how to make one with a hollow head by hand. So yeah, I know Stacks, but the art section doesn't show up on OBS. So we're just IRL today. Your voice is cool. Thank you, Pine. So let's get going. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are you ready to make something? And by the way, it's little guy's second birthday. Happy birthday, little guy. Look at this giant piece of clay. You can't sculpt today. Oh no. Well, don't worry. The VOD will be available afterwards. And by the way, if you're on YouTube, you can go over to Twitch and see a whole bunch more on my table. There's a lot more. So if I'm ever out of screen, that's because there's way more happening. And there's also a whole bunch of people over on Twitch. So thank you, that one short girl. Okay, so to start, we're going to need what sized clay you want the body to be. So this is about how big I want my piece's body to be. And then I'm going to grab a tiny bit less than this. I know that sounds crazy, but this is actually how I do my measurements. This is exactly how you're going to start the body. Burst its bag. Oh no! It's already air dried. Boom. Perfect. Also, if you're on Twitch and you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Prime membership to Twitch for free. So you can use that so you don't have ads. Here's a cake for a little guy. Do I save my lives on YouTube? I do. And they're also saved on Twitch. First thing you're going to do, roll it into a ball. So you took your little chunk of clay, roll, until you have a nice little ball. It doesn't have to be perfect because now we're going to turn it into a raindrop. So the way that I do this is I usually start by just kind of going around and pinching it to create the first part of a raindrop. So we're just making our circle a little bit longer. W methods in the chat. Right. See? And then I'm going to take it in my palm. This is the easiest way to make raindrops by a million miles. No matter how big you're making them, this always works. And I'm going to take this fat part of my hand on both sides. Hi, Clover. And I'm just going to go like this. And then look, see how it's becoming more raindrop shape? And so however pointy or not pointy you want your raindrop to go, you're just going to roll it in your hand like that. So now I have a pretty good sized raindrop. And then I'm just going to take my thumb and squish it down. So this is going to be the main the main part of our body. As you can see, we're going to go over here so I can show you a little bit better. See how that is our body shape? So we start with that little raindrop. Now, in the supply list, I told you could either grab a rib if you had one or a credit card, something like that. We need something essentially with just a nice little flat, skinny edge. By the way, I just realized I've been watching myself sculpt in OBS the entire time. I have not looked at my hands one time. This is actually crazy. I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little bit of this top part. He's a little too tall right now. We don't actually need him to be that tall. So I'm just going to cut off a little of my raindrop so it looks like that. And then I'm going to take, and if you have a credit card, you're going to use it the exact same way. You're going to take it right in the middle. Your goal is going to go to right in the middle and then about a quarter of the way up, maybe. If you want them to have longer legs, you can go up a little bit higher. But for me, I'm going to go just about a quarter of the way up. I just realized I cannot see YouTube chat at all. If you're in YouTube, can you say hi so I can make sure that I can still see y'all? It feels like y'all died, and I'm a little scared. YouTube chat, are you alive? I think you died. You're on YouTube. Okay, perfect. Thank you. YouTube is alive. Everybody just stopped talking all at once. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lanes. Thank you, Mango. Okay, okay. Everybody, okay, YouTube was just locked in. Okay, okay, okay. Hello, Call Me Snake. Hi, Mel. Hello, everybody. Okay, okay. The screen is bigger. Yes, definitely on Twitch, the screen is much larger. There's way more going on over here. Okay, we're just listening. Perfect. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because Twitch was still talking. And then YouTube, silence. Nothing. Hi, Pamela. Hello, croissants. Okay, so I just used my rib to go up about a fourth of the way, right? And then I'm literally just taking my thumbs and slowly pushing those two pieces of clay a little bit farther apart. This is going to create the legs of our piece. So everybody see that? How we have legs now? You really just want to very carefully, you can flip it back and forth. You're just going to push it very gently away. And this is our little legs. Our little itty bitty legs. This is the easiest way to do things. Sorry about the light changing a lot. The sun is setting and the door is open. So now is the first time we're going to use our water. I just got a little bit of water on the paintbrush and I'm going to go ahead and first smooth over our piece. Your piece could get a little dry from just touching it with your hands, depending on how dry your clay was, right? And we're just going to go ahead and smooth it out, right? The Minecraft Nugents would be very confused. We're just going to go ahead and smooth it out a little bit. And then I'm going to take the same paintbrush, same amount of water. We're not going to dip it again. We want it to be a little bit wet, but mostly dry. And we're going to go on that line that we just created. You're just going to paint it. Back and forth, paint it. This is going to widen the line a little bit, but also really help define his little leggies, right? We're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. Everybody following along so far? No need to chat if you are. You're good. I think my stats are going to be confused, though. They're going to be like, typically your chat chats all the time. Now they're quiet. Right? So we're going to go back and forth until you're happy with how smooth the cut you made is. And also how his little legs are going. Does this live mean your injury is almost gone? Unfortunately, absolutely not. Hello. No, I wish. Call me Snake. I wish. This live means that I'm allowed to do sculpting for strengthening my hand. That one short girl. But yeah, little guy step-by-step tutorial. Okay, so we have our little leggies, right? We have our little leggies, and that's literally all you're going to do for the body. That's all you got to do. Hi, Sonia. Hello, Obsidian. We have our little legs. We're going to go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to grab another piece of clay. This one is going to be much smaller. These are going to be his little arms. Once again, I'm going to take a piece of clay. I'm going to roll it into a ball. Don't worry about it being too big. We can always cut away clay, but you don't want to make it too tiny. This is going to be both of his arms. So I have a little ball, right? And with this little ball, I'm going to cut it in half. This is how I get two even arms without trying to make two of the same sized ball. So you're finishing homework. Good job finishing your homework first. Then we're just going to go ahead and cut that ball right in half. Boop. So you can use whatever you have. Whoa, it's me. All distorted. W reflection. It was from the rib. So we have our two little halves, right? We have two equally sized halves. These are going to be our arms. It's okay if they're not exactly perfect, but we want to try to get them relatively close. I'm cheating. I'm using a sponge. I didn't tell y'all to grab one. My clay is just a little dry. This is the inside of the whale guts. This is the inside of the whale guts, if you've been watching my whale shark series. How do you make it stand up? I just boop it on the table. Now it's standing. Really simple. I just go ahead and boop it on the table. You thought it was a piece of bread. No, not a piece of bread. Okay, here's our little body. Then we have our two balls. These are going to be the arms. So remember how we just made the raindrop for the body? Surprise. We're going to go ahead and make another raindrop. Not just one, but two. So by the end, we're going to have a total of 3 raindrops. Very interesting. So again, I just take it and roll it on the side of my hand. This time, instead of using my hand, right, like we did for the bigger one, I'm just going to use my fingertip. I just realized I look really tan. I must have been in the sun recently. Can y'all tell that I'm Mexican now? Anyways, we're going to go and we're just going to roll it, roll it, roll it. Roll, roll, roll. Again, my clay's kind of dry. Your clay may be doing the same thing. See how it's kind of getting all craggly? You know how I fix that? Just take a little tiny bit of water on my paintbrush and smooth right over that. Again, don't ever freak out if something doesn't seem like it's working perfectly. The only thing you gotta do is just keep going. It'll be okay. Oh, thank you, Sonia. I appreciate that. So you just go back and forth, make a raindrop. It's okay if it's not perfect. Sometimes it also helps to do it on the table to get it a little more even, because obviously your hand is curved. Yes, you can absolutely use air dry. I keep forgetting you can use a paintbrush on clay. It is the best. My injury, not great, unfortunately. And again, everybody, if you are on Twitch, especially if you're an Amazon Prime member, you do get a free Prime membership every single month, gifted to you by Jeff Bezos himself. So before there's ads again, this is Longhorn White Clay. It is by Armadillo Clay Company. Okay, so here's our little raindrop. Wow, very cool. Now we're going to go again with the second ball and do the exact same thing. Most glazed clay of all time. It might be. An intruder. Sorry, y'all just witnessed a murder on screen. That was so rude. Okay, so once again, we have another clay ball. If you missed it the first time, first I just kind of go like this to get it not so circle shaped. Okay, we're going to pause. There's an ad. There's an ad. Well, never mind. It was the second raindrop. Hopefully, if you can hear me, chat, can you tell chat to just keep making another raindrop if they have an ad? Can you use water on polymer clay? No, I would not use water. It shouldn't get cracky if you knead it enough. If you have worked it well enough, it should not get crackly on polymer clay. That's so smart, Sven. Make a little guy on a day that your brain isn't fried. Yeah, for now you can just watch me actually explain everything that I'm doing instead of forget 15 steps. Thank you, Sarah. We're just gonna go ahead. Again, my clay's kind of dry because this is the whale shark gut, so it's already been worked a couple of times at this point. But you're just gonna go ahead and compare your first raindrop to your second raindrop until they look pretty similar. So this one's a little bit fatter, which is fine. I'm just gonna go again. Make it a little skinnier. Again, my clay is so craggly, but I thought this would be closer to the texture of air dry clay, so I decided to use it. Random question, but are you a lefty or a righty? I am a lefty. I'm technically ambidextrous, but I work left hand dominant. Hello, Jake. Hello, hello. Yeah, there won't be ads on YouTube. You can just see a lot less. So you can't really see. Watching this on vertical is so nostalgic. Yeah. It is nostalgic to see my screen vertical. Okay, so we have our two little... Hey! Thank you so much for the Prime. Ooh, and Span hit 12 months of membership. Thank you so much for the Prime. W Prime from Luna in the chat. Okay, we have our two little raindrops, and we have no ads for for somebody. Yeah, Lefty Club, Lefty Club, Lefty Club. We have our two little raindrops. Now, if you're working with ceramic clay or air dry clay, at this point, I will suggest, because you've been working with them for a really long time with your hands, they're gonna lose a bunch of moisture. And when you're working tiny, especially, clay tends to dry out. So what I like to do before I do my next step, especially when I'm working on like a figure, is go ahead and add a little bit of moisture to these pieces. So I just take some water on my paintbrush and go around the piece a little bit before it's time to attach them. Something to watch on the train. That sounds perfect. Prime sub is from Opal. Thank you for the Prime, Opal. We're almost at our like goal. Let's go. So speedy when I'm doing not gaming content. Okay, so we have our body. We have our arms. You can go ahead and check right now if you like how big your arms are. Right? I'm just going to place it on here. So this arm's a little longer, so I know that I'm going to trim a little bit off the top here. But this is kind of where we should be going. Cass, we're making a little character. So the next thing I'm going to show y'all how to do is make a head. And then you can either choose to follow me along to make it little guy, or you can make whatever little character. Best trimming method, whatever you have available. So for me, I typically use this tool that looks like a X-Acto knife. Everybody thinks it's an X-Acto knife. It's not sharp at all. It's just essentially like a little triangle piece of rib on the end of a tool, but you can use your credit card probably the exact same way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure they're kind of even. We're about to slip and score these on, so we have this, right? Perfect. Hi, OG Cherry. Hello, hello. Wonderful, yes. You're gonna make a little spaceman. Oh, that's so cute. So we had the arms on, but now we have to actually attach them. At that point, they're not attached. If you put something in the kiln or even air dried it like that, they're falling off 100%. So if you have a toothpick right now or a scoring tool, whatever, we're just gonna make a lot of scratches. What you're trying to make is clay Velcro. So your piece should be all scratched up and ugly. Even if you made it super pretty, we're gonna go ahead and make it nice and scratched up and ugly. Yuck, right? Understood? Wonderful. Now for the arm. We're gonna go ahead and scratch it up on the same side that it's attaching to the body. That's why we went ahead and kind of placed it on there first to get an idea of where it was going. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Scratch it up, make it, you're making Velcro when you score. Oh, I love that. That's so perfect. You're in Korea. Hi. I won't speak Korean because that's cringe of me. But, hi aliens, hello! It is a tutorial, you see. Said that right after you asked. Okay, yeah, you can use a toothpick. Anything that can scratch. You can just scratch, 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 scratch. I know, I've also been missing making sculpting lives, but I'm hurt, so I just gotta, like you can see I'm shaking pretty bad. I'm not in pain right now, don't worry. A pumpkin head, that's perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add some water. If you are using air dry clay, you're gonna use water. If you're using ceramic clay, this is where you would go ahead and add slip. But honestly, secret guys, if you do a good enough job scoring your piece, you don't need to you slip for little pieces like this. But don't tell anybody I said that. Especially if you're using air dry clay though, you're just gonna go ahead and put some water on the piece where you scored it and then stick those arms on. And you're gonna wanna use a decent amount of pressure to make sure that Velcro is really stuck together. Like if you take two pieces of Velcro and you put them next to each other, it's not really going to stick, right? You actually have to like squish the two pieces of Velcro together to make them stick. And you're gonna wanna do that with these two, right? We just created Velcro, but now we got to actually stick it together. Thank you for the follow, Cake of the Swamp. Thank you, thank you. Izzy, thank you for the follow. Little Fern, thank you for the follow. I think I may have missed one more, but it went by. And again, on the other side, we're just gonna make sure those two arms match at least a little bit. I'm gonna have to trim this arm one more time, but there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Hello, alien. Hi, I'm back. I'm sculpting. I wasn't gone. I've been streaming the whole time. But not on Wednesdays. I never streamed on Wednesdays. This is a weird occurrence. A weird occurrence. But it's little guy's birthday, so we have to stream. Okay. So now we have our little arms attached to our little cute body, right? But you can see from where we scored the pieces, there's all this like little clay bits, right? And you may not want that. Maybe, maybe you're going for a fluffy character. If you're going for a fluffy character, leave it like that. But I am going to go ahead and get some water and just smooth that down. I'm going to smooth any of the marks that were farther than the arms down. We're going to smooth out that slip. We're just going to get it looking nice and shiny and smooth. I don't really like the gaming lives. Thank you for letting me know. I don't have a choice. So, yeah, it is what it is. Again, we're going to go ahead and smooth it out on both sides. Smooth it, smooth it, smooth it. It's either gaming lives or no lives. Forgot how high elo I am at sculpting. It's crazy. This part is my job. It's insane. Boom. Look at that. We have a little body. Hey, thank you for the sub on Ko-Fi, Fester. If y'all want to check out my Ko-Fi, it's right there. Dun 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 dun. We see. We have a body. Okay, is everybody caught up? I'm going to pause for a second. Everybody kind of give me a heads up if you are here before we move on. Before we move on and Bunnies takes over the camera. Because I can't do the next step, so. How's it going? How's it going? Rank 1 sculptor, that's me. You're good, Shy Pigeon? Hi, Zigzag. Hello. Hi, Underwater. Hi. Are we good? Are we here? For those of you who are following along. You keep squishing everything you've done. No! Sabrina, I can do I can do 30 minutes of art, but I was told to sculpt specifically because it's really good for healing the injury I have, interestingly. So yeah, almost 1 a.m. for you. Oh gosh. Before we move on. I'm going to wait. We're taking a little pause. You know what we're going to do? Arms aren't sticking well. Any tips? Score a little better, Dr. SP. You're just going to want to make sure to really get those score lines like a little deeper than what you would think. And then a little bit of water, stick the arms on. But remember, we want to score on both sides. So on the arm and the body. Make sure we're scoring on the arm and the body. I can show you what scoring looks like with a one single stick versus on a thing. You're working tomorrow. W working. Hi, Sonia. Hello. Okay, so if you are scoring with one thing, like a toothpick, for example, we're going to just make sure to get those lines nice and deep. We're going to go one way, right? Diagonal one way. And then you can either go just straight across or you can go diagonal the other way, or both. But regardless, we want that clay to get nice and fluffy, right? We want our clay to be nice and fluffy. And then you stick 2 fluffy pieces together with just some water, especially if you're using air dry clay. If you're using ceramic clay, go ahead and use slip, but for air dry clay, not necessary. Air dry clay is much stickier typically than ceramic clay. But while we wait for everybody to catch up, hello my little plants, this is the Midori house, the greenhouse, and my only job here is to keep you both happy and hydrated. So if you haven't had water in a while, please get up and grab some water. If you have water next to you, go ahead, drink some, but then get up, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Again, this is the Midori house, the greenhouse, and my only job here is to keep you both happy and hydrated. So if you haven't had water in a while, please get up and grab some water. I personally will be getting some water right now. Give me 1 second. Amma, I absolutely agree. When I'm working especially, never drink enough water. Hi, Quattro. Hello. Yes, we need water. Water, water, water. Span, I haven't eaten all day. I'm going to need a lot of things. How did I decide my business name? This is a perfect time to answer. So when I was trying to think of a name, I was actually making plant pots, and I was also growing a ton of exotic plants. So I wanted a name that could work for the plants, but also for if I expanded on the pot making or the plant accessories, or for example, my parents are both architects, so if they wanted to make little houses or anything like that. So I wanted the greenhouse as a name, but obviously there's a lot of things called the greenhouse, so that didn't work super well. I live in a very Spanish speaking area, so the Verde house, very taken. So I started looking at other languages. Didn't really like Latin, but then I knew that Midori is specifically the green of new growth, which I really liked because this was a new chapter in my business life. And also plants, obviously seeing new growth is always excellent. So I really liked the way that it sat. And it means it's the greenhouse. Also, Midori sours are green, so even people who are predominantly English speaking, I think can kind of pick up the green from that. So that's how we're here. Tennis elbow RSI stuff. No! I swear, Spen, everybody with chronic illness just kind of ebbs and flows together. But yeah, so that's the Midori house. And then Key has always been my nickname, so it also worked really well because I'm the Key. This is the Midori house. You know. Bye, Cass. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, okay, so I'm hoping that the water break and the name explanation gave everybody enough time to kind of catch up to where we are. So if you are working with polymer clay at this point, what you're going to want to do is grab the amount of clay you want for a head. So depending on how big you want the piece's head to be is how big you want your ball to be. My best advice, honestly, for polymer clay or for the easy version of this tutorial is just to go ahead and do a solid head. If you want your head to be a little lighter for air dry or polymer, you can use maybe like a little piece of tin foil balled up as the center, as the core, to make it a little lighter. But a ball for the head. So this is a nice little head. For this piece, we're going to go ahead and go with a bigger head. Personally, that's what I like. But all of my pieces, my ceramic pieces, are hollow. This allows me to put little clay balls inside. It also makes them nice and light, so that way you can use, that way they can stand up on their own. Pieces with heavier heads have a harder time standing up. So if you want your piece to stand up on its own, it's a lot easier if you use a lighter piece of clay. So I'm going for a head about this big for this piece. So where's the next size up?
Next size up.
I mean, That's fine. I mean, you're gonna show him how to do it by hand, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Okay, so we're going for about this size head for me, but if you want to do whatever size head, if you want a tiny size head, tiny size ball. If you want a big size head, big size ball. Blah, blah, blah. Now, for a hollow head this big, we do not need this much clay. For a hollow head, you need slightly less clay than the size you want. So if you want to go ahead and get the size clay, kind of figure out how big-ish you want the head, this is a great way to do it. Just go ahead and grab it solid first. So I know that I'm going to need a little bit less than this. Do I do my nails myself? No, I go get them done. It's one of my favorite ways to support local artists. So I went ahead and took a little off. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like. Now I will let everybody know my hands are about to sub out for my shipping assistant, Bunnies. He is not an expert, but we have practiced to try to get him up to teach y'all. Again, SolidWorks, and you can go, I have plenty of tutorials on pinch pots, but for the sake of the live, he is going to show y'all how that happens. So see, the head is slightly smaller now. To start, just like with the arms, we're going to go ahead and cut that right in half. And I will continue narrating, guys, so hopefully he can catch up. Lock in, bro. I'm also going to go ahead and once again, because my clay is drier, and especially if you're working with air dry clay, I'd go ahead and add a little moisture at this point. If you're just starting, please know this could be very difficult, so if it doesn't work out, feel free to use a solid head. But, you know, if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and try it out. Bye, Lynx. Bye, Pine. Goodbye, goodbye. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little water so that way it's easier to squish and also cracks less bad. It's a problem that people have sometimes. So we just have our two halves, and you want to keep them in this shape. There's no reason to turn this into a ball right now. We want this like little half bowl shape. Okie dokie. Is everybody ready? Are we excited? We're going to learn how to make a hollow sphere now with our hands. This part I am not allowed to do. My physical therapist would send me to prison, I think. We will wait until the ads are over to start this next spot. But hopefully y'all are all caught up. W ads, W ads. Am I taking too long? Chat, am I going too slow? Chat, be honest, am I going too slow? I'm worried. Are we going too slow?
W money.
Cracks less bad. W money. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitch. And again, if you have a Twitch Prime, I would love to take it, and then you won't get any ads, and it's free. And Jeff Bezos pays for it. Okay, chat. Am I going too slow or too fast? Is everything okay? Are we having fun, I guess, is the main question. Perfect speed. Okay, good. Not too slow, just right. Perfect. Okay, good, good, good. I'm glad to hear it. Welcome, bunnies, everybody.
Nail check.
You're going too fast, not me. Okay, perfect. Don't let anybody know, but I guess you got to be on Twitch to know what Stack said next. Okay, so we are going to get started. You are going to take one of your halves of a sphere, and the very first thing you're going to do is squish your thumb right down into the middle of it. This is going to be opening up a pot. If you've ever seen somebody throw clay on a wheel, after they get it centered, the very first thing they do is open that piece up. And that is exactly what we are doing here. So you're just going to go ahead and take your thumb and slowly open it up. So that way we get it, pretty much we're starting to make it hollow, right? Now, I don't know what he's doing with his other hand. That he's freestyling it, I swear. But we're now going to take our thumb and our pointer finger and pinch around the pot. So you can use your other hand to kind of support the piece. I think that's what his fingers are doing. For me, it doesn't exactly look like that. But just however you're comfortable supporting the piece while also pinching it. So you just pinch round and round and round. You want to start by pinching all the way closest to the top. So you're going to start by pinching like that, around, around, around. And then you start pinching slowly towards the top center. That should create your half sphere. Part of me thinks that we did not practice enough, and I don't know if Bunnies is going to create a sphere, but hopefully. Hi, Wendy. We're going to create something. Yeah, double hands. There's double hands. I hope you can try. This is polymer clay earlier. I would suggest for polymer clay using a aluminum center for your sphere. Personally. Yeah, Bunnies also isn't bendy, so it looks a little bit different. But see, this is what we should approximately get to.
That's kind of spherical.
Kind of spherical. Think it needs to be a little thinner,
More.
personally. But just where you're comfortable, I promise y'all, this is going to sound insane once again, but you will be able to tell when it's thin enough. You can feel, again, you must practice a little bit, trust me. But once you can tell, you can tell. That's the best way I can describe it. What are we making? Whatever you want. We're making a little figure, but I am going to show you how I make a little guy. So you can either follow along exactly, or you can stop right after we finish this step and just make it however you want. Okay, so now we're going to go to our second one once you are happy with it. Don't worry if you're still making your sphere. Keep on going. Keep on making your half. But really, you're just trying to make a little bowl. A nice little bowl. Don't worry about it being too perfect, too circular. We will work on the circleness later. We will work on the circleness later. Imagine this is your first time coming in. You just have to assume these are my hands. Surprise, I'm wearing a headset and standing off to the side reading chat. You can't even tell. You did the head a little differently, but it's still hollow. Hey, however you want to do it is good with me. I'm just happy y'all are here working along with me, and I hope you're having a good time. You have a school dance later. Oh, that's awesome, Wendy. I hope you have so much fun. Yeah, we're making a Midori resident. Exactly, Quattro, exactly. A little guy, a Midori resident, whatever you want to call your people resident. So again, we're going to start pinching from the very center after we open up the little clay ball. And then you're going to slowly start pinching round and round and round and round and round all the way till you get up to the rim. That's what we want to do. Now you can compare your first little sphere half to your second little sphere half, and it may give you the idea of which one needs to be squished a little further. We want those to line up almost perfectly. It's okay if one is a little tiny bit bigger or smaller, but you don't want it to be too crazy of a difference. We want these two pieces to be almost exactly the same. That's why I like to take my solid clay ball and cut that in half to create my two halves of the sphere. It gives you a lot easier chance of getting those two pieces really close without having to worry about measuring or anything like that. Oh no, thanks for stopping by, Mel. I hope you had fun at Little Guy's party. I hope you had fun. Oh, hello, Pamela. Hello, 8. I'll call you 8. Hello, hello. I'm glad you're having fun. He also got the little guy nails. Yeah, I had to get Bunnies dripped in the little guy nails for the party. I couldn't have y'all looking at crusty nails for the party. Oh, I'm so glad, Sarah. Okay, so once we have our two halves of our sphere, now this is where we are turning this little guy into a actual sphere. So the first thing we're going to want to do is slip and score the rims of both spheres. I'm sorry, just score them. Start by scoring them. Don't get crazy yet. We're just going to go ahead and score. I am again letting him demonstrate this part because my hands are cooked and I can't do too much, and I still need to do a little work on the whale shark today. So we're going to go ahead and score both halves first. So again, we want to make sure that those rims where we are scoring are nice and fuzzy. Hello, Star. Hi, hi. Want to make sure those rims are nice and fuzzy. Again, we are creating Velcro, chat. We need those pieces to be nice and fuzzy. Once your piece is scored nice and well, you can decide if your little guy needs brain cells. Now, not everybody wants their pieces to have brain cells. You never know what could happen when they start thinking their own thoughts. But for me personally, I take all of my scrap clay and turn it into these little balls. So I always have plenty of brain cells to spare. So I am going to add a few little brain cells to my piece before I slip it. Otherwise, those little balls could get stuck. They're just clay balls, chat. If you have some clay, you can just, go ahead and make a few little balls for his brain cells. You can make them different shapes or whatever you want, but I just use my little scrap clay that I roll into balls as I work. So we have brain cells. We are, again, just using water because this is a example for air dry clay people. But if you use ceramic clay, go ahead and use that to go over. You're pushing too hard. Don't do that. We're just dropping the water on. That may be your problem. Great example of what not to do, bunnies. If you're applying your water to your scored area, you don't want to push down those little nice peaks that you made. You don't want to squish down your Velcro too hard. So just go ahead and boop them on. It's okay if they're wet. Just try not to squish them, Dr. SP. Just drop them in. I've done it wet before and it's completely fine. Oh, thank you, Quattro. Thank you, thank you. You love your bald little guy. Bald little guy is adorable. He did it on purpose just to show off a common mistake.
Yeah.
Is there something off with the audio or is it just you? Is anybody having problems with the audio? I gave him some brain cells, but so as it dries, Span, you should be able to loosen them up. It'll stick to the walls for a second, but then you just kind of shake it and it'll come off eventually. No problems? Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. I don't know what he just did because I haven't explained it yet. I think he probably just, after slipping both sides, stuck the two pieces together. So you just want to go ahead and line up the rims of those two pieces and stick them together. So you should have this, what I used to call back in the day, an ugly hamburger. Fun fact, I have made likely at least 500 to 700 of these by hand in various sizes, all the way up to 6 inches. So trust me when I say they always start like ugly hamburgers. Don't worry about that. Now I'm going to take back over my seat before the smoothing happens, because this part is a little difficult, I will say, from jump. So we have our ugly hamburger. Should make a hamburger and call it like that. We're going to go ahead and take our ugly hamburger. And what I like to do first is kind of, you're not really pinching, you're like pinch smoothing. So we're going to kind of pinch smooth them together to make sure those Velcros are stuck. Remember how we had to do it with the arms and the body? We want to make sure those Velcros are really stuck. So we're going to do that again. We're going to make sure these Velcros are really stuck. So whether that's pushing it together like this or pushing it together like this, we want to make sure those Velcros are stuck. Again, we have our ugly hamburger, but now it's just kind of looking like a kind of strange, ugly egg. Now we can take our paintbrush and we're going to use the other end. One of my favorite tools in the entire world is the end of this carving tool. Now, I know not everybody has this, so we're just using a paintbrush, but sometimes the tool that you need is the end of another tool. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be using the back of this paintbrush to go around that seam that we just closed up. And we're literally kind of gently pressing but scratching the clay. So see how I'm getting kind of clay buildup right here on my paintbrush? That is normal and expected. A baby burger shaker. That's what you have. Hey, that's what you have right now if you want to make one. We're just going to go around and kind of smooth out that seam that you made. Now, if you did a really good job slipping and scoring, this process is so easy. Hi, Butter Lover. I love your name. So cute. Bye, Wendy. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to go around. Now, the first time I just went around this way, right? Now I'm going to go around at an angle or the other angle. We want to go diagonally. If you can still see your line, you're not done smoothing. You just keep going and going and going and going. Now, some people will tell you that if you are making a pinch pot, you have to like make a little dumb coil of clay and stick it around that seam. I'm not trying to do all that, and neither are you. Just spend longer smoothing it out. Just vibe. Watch a show. Listen to some music. It's okay. You don't gotta be doing all that. We don't need to go get more clay. I'm gonna smooth it out. I'm pretty happy with where it is, but I feel like some of y'all are probably gonna be smoothing for a little bit, especially if your clay is wetter. Right now, this could be a mushy situation. My clay is kind of dry, so it's a little bit easy. This part is one of the only parts that's easier. With wet clay. But again, we still have a kind of ugly shape. Don't worry about it. And if you have any cracks like this one, oop, I'm out of focus. If you have any cracks like these, you're going to just use a paintbrush with a little water on it to smooth them out. Again, people are going to tell you not to do this. It works. I don't know. Look, they're fine. They're fine. You can also use that wet paintbrush to go around once you're happy with the smoothness. Now, I'm hoping I'm not moving too fast. Again, I've made hundreds and hundreds of these, so this part is no thoughts, brain empty for me. But once I have my seam pretty much hidden, you can either roll it in your hand, which does work, but not exactly in my opinion. I like to now roll it on my table. So I'm just using these 3 fingers to kind of go around and roll the piece. Art, you're probably not smoothing long enough. You're either not scoring enough or not smoothing enough. But the seam should go away. Once it starts forming more into a circle, I will kind of use my hands to get that shape. Again, we're aiming for a nice sphere. So I'll just kind of use my fingers to push the little sphere into a circle. Push it, push it, push it into a circle. And then once I'm like, okay, that looks pretty good, back on the table. I cut out about 30 minutes of smoothing per new piece that I make. I will say that when I got the molds from I make art dot stuff, I make stuff dot art, the smoothing is a little bit easier because the edges are flat, but not much. This is how I currently make half spheres because my hands hurt. Also, it's easier to list things when y'all know how big they are. The smoothing squeezes it out. I use really wet clay too, Art. I don't have any problems hiding my seams typically. As long as I spend enough time. Your little guy body's on the thick side. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a thick little guy. Oops, I was scrolling on YouTube and got back to this. It's time to go to bed, Pine. Okay, so right here, my seam opened up a little bit. That's because this clay is really dry. So, exactly how you think you would fix that. Just a little water, and then diagonal, horizontal, vertical, all of the smoothing. And look, it's gone. Wow. We're almost there, chat. We almost have a circle. Are y'all almost at a circle? It's so sticky. Span, just dry it in your, roll it in your hands a little more. Unless your hands are very sweaty, then you can take like a printer piece of paper and then, woo, like this. Like this. Chat, I'm so hungry. My tummy hurts so bad. W ads. Ooh, a brain. I'm so hungry I could expire. Yeah, yep, spawn. So if you just take span. If you take a white piece of paper and just do this, the paper will suck up some of that moisture. Ah! I am, Libby, I am. Okay, so we have a head. This head is a little bit, no, it's actually kind of cute. I like it, Picasso. But I am going to trim this a little bit. This guy's head's huge, but we're out here freestyling it, so it's fine. Now, when you have a circle that you are really happy with, I like to go ahead and boop where his neck is going to combine on the table, so we get a nice flat edge. See how I'm just booping it? Boop, 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 boop. Very easy. And then I just check. Okay, how's that gonna look? I don't know, pretty cute, I guess. Wow, right? And then, guess what we're gonna do, chat? We're gonna score again. We're gonna score his little arms. And we're gonna score his little head on the bottom where we just booped it. Hi YK, hello, hello. We're gonna give it a soul. That's why we gave them brain cells. This piece is flat right there. I did not make this sphere and I can tell. Into little guy fan art, Obsidian, that's perfect. Right, we're gonna score it. Again, we wanna make sure that these scores are nice and deep. Chat, why is it important to score this clay? What are we trying to make? What are we trying to make? What are we trying to make? Hi, little drawing guy. Velcro, exactly, Span. You get an A+ today. Everybody give Span a round of applause. No, I'm just kidding. But actually, we're trying to make Velcro. So we're just gonna go ahead. Adhesion, that's also true. That's also true. So again, if you're using ceramic clay, you're gonna go ahead and slip here, but because we're pretending that I'm using air dry clay, I'm just gonna go ahead and use water. Also, I did a good job scoring, so it's fine. No one will know. No one will know. Then once again, like we did with the arms, we're just gonna go ahead and smooth it down. W smooth. Hi Sophia, hello, hello. Sour Patch Kid spotting, yep, he's in there, Sour Patch little guy. This guy kind of has like a natural head, a natural nose, but we're not going to use that. Now, at this point, you want to make sure that your guy can still stand. Where did the background noise and the Midori music go? Sorry, we are fancy now. You love the penguins over there? Yeah, they're just all hanging out. But yeah, you just kind of put it on your table. If he does not stand up, just boop it again. It'll stand up. You just want to make sure that your head is kind of even on the body. I actually suggest for if you're going to make little guy, if you're going to keep going, make little guy, to move the head a little bit forward. That'll help with the balance when you add the petals. So at this point, chat, this is the base of a Midori resident. This is the base of all the little guys that I make. From here, you can make whatever you want. You can make him a tomato by giving him a little leaf on the top and a little head. You can make him into a fish by adding a tail and some fins. You can make a blueberry by giving him a little crown, right? Right here, you can make whatever little resident you want, as long as you show me. Because chat, if you don't show me what you made today, you're going to hurt my feelings. Even if you think it's the ugliest thing that you have ever seen, I want to see it, okay? But we are going to keep going because I am going to show y'all how I make little guy. We're going to do kind of a simple one because I'm starving to death and I'm honestly not supposed to be working very much. So I'm going to make his petals slightly larger than normal. This is kind of like a variation of little guy. Typically, I would use a really tiny circle to make his petals. You promise you'll sculpt along next time? Okay, good. But we're going to go ahead and use this bigger one. So that way he's going to have total less petals because, again, I'm a little injured. Weren't we already halfway done with one? What are you asking, Quattro? Nothing's changed. Did I say something strange that made it confusing? Okay, chat, we're going to make a little guy, we need petals. We need petals. So we need to flatten out a piece of clay. I am guessing you don't have a rolling pin for art. If you do, you just go ahead and use that. Literally anything you have that's round, perfect rolling pin. This is a thingy. That's true. Am I still working on the 30-minute rule? Yeah, I'm actually supposed to be doing until my arm hurts right now. Oh, thank you, Fairy. Hi, Moonscales. Hello, hello. By the way, chat, if you're new here, you can call me Key. Hi, I'm Key. This is the Midori house. Welcome. The Midori house is the place in which I create things. Hello, Clock. Hi, hi. Blending stick. But I'm making a flat piece of clay. This is how I'm going to make his petals. So just go ahead, flatten out some clay. And again, this is only if you're following along. If you want to make whatever your own character or creation is at this point from this base, I'd love to have y'all hang out. But if not, then keep following along. You're just Kitty Star with a new name. Well, hello, welcome. We were already halfway with one. The drawing showed up. Quattro, I don't know what's happening. Maybe refresh your stream. I think you're behind. Can somebody tell Quattro to refresh? How much did I purchase my kiln for? 1.2K was the retail price. I got mine secondhand on Facebook Marketplace, so it was less than that. So again, I'm just going to use a circle to cut these out. I have this circle cutter. If you don't have one of these, you can just cut out circles with whatever small circular thing you find. I've used pill bottle caps. I've used like pin caps. If you have like bigger chunky markers, those work really well. Found an old yearbook of mine. That's why I haven't said anything. Oh my goodness. But yeah, we're just gonna go and cut some petals out. Thank you, Moon. I appreciate you. Just gonna go ahead. I always cut out extra because sometimes I mess them up. I'm hoping I can fit 5 on this guy. We love buying secondhand. Absolutely. I definitely suggest buying a secondhand kiln if you are familiar with how kilns work and if you can still find replacement parts for that kiln. Hi, Maddie. Hello. Thank you so much. Hi. Hello, Tira. Hello, hello. Yes, absolutely. If that is a possibility, again, and you are familiar with kilns, yeah, definitely it is a cheaper way. What am I making? Just a little flower guy. Like if you're on YouTube you can't see, but there's flower guys off to the side. Hi Shy, hello. Thank you, Clock. I appreciate you. You're getting your first ever kiln soon. Congratulations. I hope you have so much fun. So now what I'm going to do is, again with this same circle cutter, but if you're, actually I'll just use this because it's easier to show y'all. I'm just going to cut like little half moons out of each of the petals, but really small ones. So I'm just cutting off a tiny bit of clay, right? Just cutting off a little bitty bit of clay. Quattro, I think you're really behind. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain to Quattro that they're behind because I think they're behind, so they can't hear me. Now what I'm going to do is around his head, starting at his chest, I am going to score the whole thing. Now, I'm not going to go straight up the middle, but I'm going to go towards the top middle. So I'm going to go from his chest towards the top middle. I like little guy to have a big old forehead. And one of the reasons for that is because if I go ahead and give him a hat, I like to have room for that hat to sit. So we're going to go from his chest towards the top middle, and we're going to score all the way around that piece. Now, before we score the petals, we are just going to take the petals and map them out to see if they actually fit on the piece. We're going to find out that maybe the petals need to be slightly smaller or usually slightly bigger. So we're going to do that. By the way, happy birthday, little guy. Yeah, I haven't seen very many happy birthdays to little guy today. So I'm just going to kind of place them around. We actually, for this one, I might end up needing more, bigger. So I think I'm gonna flatten them out a little bit. Yeah, so we're about one petal shy. Luckily, I still have a little piece of clay over here, so I'm gonna need one more petal for this guy. Again, he has absolutely massive petals. We're barely gonna be able to see his little hand. Actually, I'm gonna cut them shorter to make them wider. Shorter, wider petals. This part is where you freestyle in case you haven't picked up on that. I'm just gonna go ahead and make the cuts a little bit higher so that way they're bigger. They take up more space on his head. More clay is touching his little head. Y'all, by the way, it's 75 degrees in here, which I've sculpted in 75 degrees a million times, but I'm sweating. I'm sweating. It is little guy's birthday. It is. This is little guy's birthday party. Is teaching y'all how to make little guy. Quattro found their way back. Okay, again, mapping it out. Trust me, it is way easier to make sure that your pieces fit than it is to go back and make the pieces fit. Like once they're attached, it is not fun to have to take them off. I do think I need one more petal, unfortunately. Even with them bigger. Okay, so see, I see that I need to make one more petal. There's like a space right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make one more petal. 21 degrees, oh my goodness. That is not my cup of tea. One more petal for our little guy. Yes, the best way to celebrate is to make more little guys. More. Okay. So now we have all of our petals. I'm pretty sure they're going to work, so I'm just going for it. I'm going to go ahead and take the time, unfortunately, to score every single petal where it is going to touch little guy's head. Now, I will say this is the most important scoring you have done all day. If you have not been taking very much time to score, trust me, you need to do this part super well. If you don't do this part really well, these are never ever gonna stick. They might stick for a second, but the second you touch one, they're gonna pop right off. And if you don't want that, go ahead, take some time, make sure these are scored well. Very important. That I'm not even seeing. I know, it's crazy. Sometimes people will just message me and they're like, here's the little guy I made in my ceramics class, and I've never even spoke to the person. Oh, I don't make a lot of little guys, Quacho. He's special. I have to have a good idea to sculpt him. And I like things taking time. I think that's one thing that my YouTube comments don't really understand is I like it. I like the slow build of these pieces. I like the human aspect. Again, we are going to go ahead and if you're using air dry clay, use water to go ahead and get this Velcro sticky. Now, if you're using ceramic clay, you're going to go ahead and want to put some slip on. Chat, hold your breath. I promise you what I'm about to do is fine. I'm not going to be hurt. It's okay. Don't worry. Okay? We're all good. I'm shaky. I'm not in pain. We're good. I'm just going to go ahead and put some slip on here. I just told chat I'm good. It's fine. I'm not in pain. It's okay. Everyone breathe. I'm okay. I only did it for like a second. $1 million art class, but for free. Pain-free experience. You want to be an artist? Start making art. I can't put the top on, sorry. Trying to one-handed put the top on. The slip is going to dry out. Okay, so I always start with the top middle petal. And again, we're going to push. Remember, we got to get that Velcro to stick together. I say don't worry because my YouTube comments have been making me want to stop posting videos altogether. So that was mostly for YouTube chat. I'm okay, chat. A crochet one could be a little really cute. How do I tell you that somebody in this very chat made me a crochet little guy? He's sitting behind me. It did not hurt me. Pinch pots hurt me. That's why Bunnies was doing the pinch pot portion of this piece. Pinch pots hurt me, not the slip bottle. The slip bottle made it worse because I was using it so much, but the pinch pot hurt me. I think actually I didn't need to make an extra petal. Oops. Well, now I have an extra one. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. One more petal. I'm gonna go ahead and wiggle these around until they all fit. This one is not wide enough. I'm changing it out with this wider one. Ooh, a little guy on the ground. A little guy on the ground. Why are oh, ads. There we go. It's not exactly where he's supposed to be, but he's close. So now I'm going to use the back of the paintbrush again as my smoothing tool. So I'm just going to use it to push the clay from the petals up towards the head. Again, if you did not slip and score well, this part is not going to be fun. your piece is going to be sliding all over the place. I do use my finger on the back side to kind of support those petals to make sure that, you know, nothing gets too crazy, because it is just fresh clay. After all, there's nothing really holding it in place. And we're just going to go around and around and around. Now, sometimes I will add a rope of clay around this to make these stick a little bit better, but typically you don't need it. Now, you'll notice when you go around to the back, it looks terrifying, but we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to make sure those petals are on. Now, chat, this is by far the hardest thing that I have taught you. So if you're struggling, please know that this is a little bit difficult. So don't feel like you're not doing a good job. It is a little bit hard. And maybe you need to make a bald little guy today. Maybe this is, maybe if you're frustrated, it's time to make your favorite fruit as a resident. And try this one again another day when you're feeling a little more confident. But we're just gonna go around and make sure that it's all stuck together. Woo, cute. A big petaled little guy. Hurry up. Why am I hurrying up? This is just as fast as it goes. There's no hurrying. And we're almost done. Gonna go ahead, keep smoothing, and then the edges will be a little rough, so you can also smooth those out. You can also wait till your piece is a little drier to do this part, but obviously I have to show y'all now, so that way we're not here for forever. Oh, I'm so glad, Shy. Black clay in your carpet. No, it's not a video, it's a party. We're having a party.
Bro didn't get the memo.
Why is my video so long? Oh, hopefully he doesn't think this is a short, because that would be insane. Anyways, we have our little guy. He has stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and give him eyeballs. For this, I don't know where my bigger magnet is, so I'm just going to... how big are you? That's too big. I just like using something circle, so I really have these little circle magnets, and that's typically what I like to use to give these pieces eyes. I found it, just kidding. So I have a bigger magnet and then a smaller magnet. Let me see if this is the same size. Yeah. So I'm just going to use the magnet to give him little eyeballs. I just push it in. Wow, eyeball. Whoa, magnets. And then I go to the other side and do the same thing. Oh, it's slippy. Whee! I have to fix this. But where's the thingy? I'm cheating. I'm using a different tool that I didn't give y'all permission to use. Not permission. But, you know. If you mess up, by the way, guess what? You can just smooth it out. And then it's fine. Wow, W eyeballs. This eye is actually, it's fine. I'm leaving it. We're not being perfect tonight, because some of y'all, this is your first time sculpting, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. His head just about caved in. No. Let's give him a nice big nose. I'm also going to use a smaller size to create that like inner circle. Oh, this was the right one. My bad. I'm just going to go around again. Create his little inner circle. I used to also carve the glares in these, but I like painting them better now, so I don't do that. for the nose, I just made a little ball of clay. Y'all know how to make a ball by now. And then I'm going to go ahead and flatten it out on the table just a little bit where it's going to attach. And then I'm going to score here, where his nose is going to connect to his face. And then again, we're going to score the nose where we want it to attach to the face, because it's very important. If there's one thing I want y'all to learn today and this sculpt along with me, it's that his nose, or that scoring is so important. Don't skip out on it. And then again, we're just going to push it right in place to make sure that it is attached. What if you don't know how to make a ball? If you have clay, you take it in your hand and then go like this. Right in between your palms. And then if it's a little egg-shaped, fix it with your hand. Fix, 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 fix. Fix, fix, fix. Right? Perfect. So yeah, we have this chat. Don't worry about the, just lock in. We're having fun, right? Don't worry about the slight disturbance. I don't have my other phone, so I can't send them to the shadow realm. Wait, maybe I can. Oh, no, I can't. I cannot, unfortunately. Are there... No, I'm sorry. But we're going to go ahead and smooth out his nose. We're going to retrieve my other phone so I can send somebody to the shadow realm. The funniest little guy I've ever made. I mean, he is supposed to be a different flower, to be fair, so that is what I decided when I started making him, is that he was going to be different, so I didn't have to attach so many petals. What if you don't know how to make a petal? You just make a circle. I just cut out a circle and then I cut a little moon from the circle, and then that makes your petal. I went over how to make it earlier, so if you'll just go back in the video, you can see it. Not the shadow realm. He's definitely a different little guy, you know? He's definitely a different little guy. I don't have my phone. I don't know where it was. Oh, it's right here. Oh. I'm just a little guy. And it's my birthday.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, Nana. Wow. How are we doing, chat? Does anybody have any questions that I can answer right now? Anything that I can answer? Do you have your little guy? Okay. This is your first time in a live. Well, welcome. What a good live. What is 9 plus 10? 21. The eyes on yours are terrifying. Paint will fix everything. Don't worry. Can I make a cat next? I can quickly show you how I would turn the base of this into a cat in case you just hopped in. I was going to answer some specific questions, but my hands are getting kind of tired. Yes, Halo, that's the idea, is that everybody makes their own little guy, and then y'all show me your little guys on the community page, or if you're in the Discord, But yeah, we're almost at 100 likes. Perfect. So I'm just going to take, once you have your head, just pretend this is the head of the piece. I do have a Discord, but it is currently members only. So if you're a member or a sub on TikTok, you can join the Discord. But otherwise, you can share on the community page. And then I'm just going to take those little, I took a circle and then I cut it in half, and then I'm going to take those, and once again we're doing that raindrop shape, except this one I'm just making it kind of a cone, and then I would go ahead and attach those two cones to either side of my piece. Obviously they're not exactly the same size. And then from there I would just smooth it down, and then you'll have a cat, I promise. It's very easy. Kitties are easy. Yeah, community page is great, but Poison, I like to see them in the Discord as well. So it's part of a benefit for being a member. I have lots of free options. So some things are also good. You're following on Facebook. We have member Discord. Paper little guy, perfect. And then at this point, if you wanted to do accessories or anything like that, the way I suggest doing accessories, which again is up to you, I like to actually put a little hole in where his hand is. So that way a high fire wire can stick in that hole. And then you can just make your accessory and use high fire wire for him to be able to hold it. You can also do that for a hat. So if you wanted to do a hat for your piece, again, I suggest using a little hole in the head. Thank you for the follow, Zarnia. You could just do a little hole. So from the front, you can't really see the hole, but then the hole can have an accessory in it. So if you have a toothpick, if you're doing air dry clay, you can do the same thing with a toothpick to make an interchangeable accessory. So you would just use the toothpick to stick in there, and then you would also leave a toothpick in something like the hat. So that is how it works. Nope, you don't, Stacks, you don't. The only reason that you get kicked out of the Discord if you were a member at some point is if you are naughty. If you're naughty, there is a sub sound, Sarah, but not a sub sound for Twitch. Sub sound for Twitch. Okay, high fire wire over and over and over again. I know. What do we think, chat? Are we happy? Thank you for the sub, Inspired. Just a completely random question. Chat, we did it. What do we think? Do we like this little baby little guy? Are we a fan? Did y'all have fun today? Did we enjoy little guy's birthday? OG little guy, current little guy. Well, it's like his cousin. A slightly different color. And did anybody make anything new? Did y'all enjoy following along? Your little guy had 8 petals. Perfect. Real little guy has 8 petals. Aw, no worries, Sabrina. I can't wait to see. Do you dry it? Yeah, so this guy will dry and then he'll go in the kiln. The little guy definitely enjoyed his birthday. It was so fun to be able to sculpt along with y'all. I really hope that y'all had fun, and I cannot wait to see y'all's art. Again, if you're in the Discord, you can drop it there, and also on my community page on YouTube. If you are from Facebook and you just want to share what you made today with me on Facebook, I will drop the pictures in Discord. And then eventually I will make a nice little post. So my one last request for everyone is going to be very simple. Can y'all all just say hi? Or can y'all all just say happy birthday, little guy, in chat? If everybody doesn't mind, could you just say happy birthday, little guy, in chat for me? And I'm going to post a little highlight of some of the things y'all made on my community page, as well as a little screenshot of chat. W chat, W chat. Feliz cumpleaños! And yeah, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for coming. I hope you all had a wonderful time. Thank you again to Stacks and everybody who made fan art. Stacks for the music. and fan art, and everybody else for the fan art. Thank you so much. I hope y'all had so much fun. I'd love to do one of these again. Make little guy, send them to me, and I will see you all on Friday for more Minecraft. Yay! And then when my hand gets better, more sculpting, I promise. Thank you guys for being here. Bye, everybody. Bye, 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 bye. Wait, I should raid. Just kidding. Don't go. Don't go anywhere, chat. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Just let me raid. Unless you're on YouTube, then y'all can just take yourselves there. But I don't know how to do this suddenly. Chat, I'm confused. Did y'all enjoy me screaming into your ears? Was that fun? I'm gonna raid one of my favorite channels here on Twitch. It is a 501(c) non-for-profit animal sanctuary here in Texas. Go say hi to them. But yeah, I'll see you on Friday. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.